Welcome back to Elite Sports Network. I'm Dre. Today, we are witnessing a historic collapse in North London. It all came to a head today at the Stadium of Light. A match that was supposed to be a turning point became another nightmare. The drama started early. In the 21st minute, Randall Kolo Muani went down in the box. Spurs thought they had a lifeline. But referee Rob Jones, after a lengthy review, overturned the penalty. It was a hammer blow to their early momentum. Sunderland dominated the ball, controlling 53% of possession and keeping Spurs pinned back in their own half. Then, the breakthrough. In the 61st minute, Nordi Mukiele cut inside from the right and unleashed a low shot. The ball took a wicked deflection off Mickey van de Ven, looping helplessly over Antonin Kinski and into the net, 1-0. But the goals weren't the only tragedy. A serious collision between Christian Romero and his own keeper left the defender in tears. Romero was forced off, leaving a struggling Spurs defense even more depleted as they fought to stay in the game. It's hard to believe this same club hoisted the Europa League trophy just a year ago. That victory felt like a new dawn, but it was a false horizon. The season began with hope under Thomas Frank. He was the man chosen to lead the post-Postecoglou era after a 17th place finish. But Frank lasted only 8 months. By February, with the club sitting 16th, the board felt they had no choice but to act. Then came Igor Tudor, a disastrous 1-month tenure that failed to yield a single league victory. The spiral turned into a freefall. Now it's Roberto De Zerbi's turn. Appointed in late March, he inherited what many are calling Mission Impossible. He walked into a whirlwind of instability, the third permanent manager in a single season of chaos and broken spirits. Look at these faces. This is a team that has forgotten how to win. 14 games without a victory in the Premier League. The numbers are staggering, averaging just 5 shots per game, the lowest attacking output since the 2003 season. The BBC even compared their playing style to a relegation contender. For a club with Champions League ambitions, it's a bitter pill. 18th place, 2 points from safety. With only 6 games left, the unthinkable, relegation, is now a very real possibility. The departure of Son Heung-min to LAFC last summer left a void that no one could fill. The heart of this club is simply gone. Off the pitch, the resignation of Daniel Levy in September ended nearly 25 years of leadership. An era is over. His exit left a power vacuum at the worst possible time. The club has been operating without clear direction during this freefall. The club tied a record for home losses in 2025, suffering 10 defeats at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. By early 2026, the team had conceded at least 2 goals in 9 consecutive home matches. The fort has crumbled. Despite world-class talent, the defense has surrendered goals at a record rate. Fear and paralysis have set in. The fans are in a state of shock. From European contenders to a team fighting for their very existence in the top flight. 14 matches, 3 months without a single league win. The pressure is mounting with every passing minute. Not since 1977 has the club faced the drop. The ghost of that season is looming larger than ever. The financial toll would be astronomical. Losing the Premier League's revenue could set the club back for a decade. The January window was a missed opportunity. No major reinforcements arrived to help steady the sinking ship. Even when they create chances, they lack the clinical edge. An expected goals of 0.9 against Sunderland says it all. Seeing Christian Romero in tears as he left the field was the final blow. He knows how high the stakes are for this squad. The collision with goalkeeper Antonin Kinski was a freak accident, but it perfectly summarizes the chaotic nature of this season. The traveling fans at the Stadium of Light were vocal in their frustration. They've traveled the length of the country for this. De Zerbi's tactics showed promise early, but the psychological damage within the squad seems too deep to fix overnight. Next up is Brighton, a game they simply cannot afford to lose if they want to keep their survival hopes alive. Then comes Wolves, another battle against a team with nothing to lose, while Spurs have everything on the line. The season concludes against Liverpool, a mountain to climb if they are still in the fight by the final day. Is there any hope left? Or has the weight of this disaster season finally broken the spirit of Tottenham Hotspur? With only 6 games remaining against Brighton, Wolves, and Liverpool, can Spurs pull off a miracle, or is the championship calling? It's a far cry from the days of Ange Postecoglou. His departure after the Europa League win left a void that Frank couldn't fill. That trophy was supposed to be the start of something big. Instead, it was the final high before a historic domestic collapse. The pressure of the new stadium debt and the high expectations that come with it have only made the fall from grace more painful. If Spurs do go down, they would join a short list of giants who have faced the drop in the Premier League era, a humbling reality. The atmosphere around the club is one of fear and paralysis. The fans can feel the danger closing in with every match. De Zerbi is known for his tactical innovation, but even his most creative tweaks might not be enough to save this sinking ship. Can they pull off a survival miracle? The next 6 games will determine the future of this historic club for years to come. The eyes of the football world are on North London. For Tottenham, it's now or never. I'm Dre for Elite Sports Network. The burden has even fallen on the academy. Mikey Moore, a bright spark in the dark, has been tasked with saving his boyhood club. Against Sunderland, his introduction was a desperate throw of the dice. A 17-year-old carrying the hopes of thousands. Beyond the pitch, the local economy is feeling the chill. Matchday revenue is the lifeblood of North London, now under threat. If relegation becomes a reality, the vibrant streets around the stadium could become a ghost town on Saturdays. A community in wait. Looking back, Thomas Frank's rigid tactical system failed to adapt. The lack of a plan B was evident from the opening month. Igor Tudor tried to implement a low block that only invited more pressure. It was a mismatch of players and philosophy. The infamously cruel Spursy tag has returned to the headlines, a psychological barrier that seems to grow with every loss. The media reaction to the Sunderland loss has been scathing. The end of an era and a club in freefall are common themes. Parallels are being drawn to Leeds United in 2004, a giant that fell and took 16 years to return. A warning from history. Unlike Everton, who have mastered the art of the narrow escape, Spurs look like a team that doesn't know how to fight in a scrap. Where is the board in all of this? The silence from the hierarchy has only fueled the sense of abandonment among the fans. Rumors of new investment persist, but who would buy into a club on the brink of the championship? The reality is stark. The 85th minute today. Richarlison with the goal at his mercy. A miss that could define the entire season of despair. The final whistle. The away end was a sea of stunned faces. No anger, just a numb realization of what is happening. The long journey back to London will be a quiet one, a time for grief and for questioning where it all went so wrong. De Zerbi spoke of psychological damage after the game. He knows his biggest job isn't on the training pitch, but in the players' heads. The Brighton game is now a true relegation 6-pointer. A win is the only option. Anything less and the light starts to fade. Brighton are in form. Spurs are in fear. It's a mismatch of momentum that De Zerbi must somehow overcome. If it goes to the final day at Anfield, it's a nightmare scenario. Relying on a result against Liverpool is a gamble nobody wants. The squad has gone silent on social media. No apologies, no promises. The disconnect between the team and the fans is widening. Mathematics says there is still a chance, but for the fans of Tottenham Hotspur, it's the hope that kills you. I'm Dre Goodnight. Looking closely at the winning goal, Nordi Mukiele's movement between the lines was something Spurs simply didn't account for. The Sunderland manager's reaction at full time said it all. A tactical masterclass that exploited every weakness in the Spurs system. It's a stark contrast to the days when clubs like Blackburn could rise to the top. Now, even established giants like Spurs are falling. The no sun, no goal chant from the away end was a painful reminder of what they've lost. The legend's shadow is long. With relegation looming, the contract situations of Romero and Van de Ven are now major concerns. Will they stay or will they go? The prospect of Tuesday night trips to the championship is becoming a reality, a humbling thought for a global brand. The levy-out protests that defined the early season have left a lasting scar. The rift between the fans and the board is deep. The Enoch-out perspective is growing. Fans are calling for a complete change in ownership to save the club's identity. The role of the sporting director is under scrutiny. The failure to recruit effectively has left the squad dangerously thin. The fatigue from Europa League travel early in the season clearly took its toll. The squad just couldn't handle the dual demands. Looking at expected points lost in the final 10 minutes, Spurs have dropped more than any other team. A failure of nerve. The boring Tottenham headlines are back. The exciting attacking DNA that the fans crave has completely disappeared. At the Bricklayers, the atmosphere is somber. The heart of the community is hurting with every passing match day. The legacy of the 1882 founders is at stake. They built this club on hope, and now that hope is being tested like never before. A final look at the table shows the 6 games that will define their history. 6 battles for the soul of Tottenham Hotspur. The injury record this season has been catastrophic. Romero is just the latest in a long line of key players to be sidelined. The high-profile signings of 2025 were supposed to be the final piece. Instead, they've become a symbol of the club's failure. The contrast with Arsenal's form is particularly painful for the fans. North London has been dominated by red all season long. The North London is red narrative has become a reality. Spurs have lost their grip on the local rivalry along with their form. The club's Big Six status is now under serious threat. Relegation would formally end their place at the top table of English football. The impact on the club's brand value would be devastating. Sponsors and global fans alike are watching this collapse with concern. The irony of the world-class new stadium hosting championship football is not lost on anyone. A billion-pound stage for a second-tier play. The tactical instructions De Zerbi gave today were clear, but the players seemed unable to execute under the weight of the moment. In the streets of Sunderland, the celebrations are continuing. For them, it's a historic win. For Spurs, it's a historic low. The scoreboard at full time said it all. Sunderland 1, Spurs 0, a result that could haunt this club for a generation.